Hello boys and girls, my name is White Rhino PSO, and today I am playing more of the original Doom. Now, this blue door leads off to the normal exit to this level, which, as I mentioned before, we're not taking the normal exit because I want to show off the secret level. Those shotgun guys can be extremely dangerous. And now what I like to always do here is give them a rocket, because the rocket combined with the explosive barrel that's up there is generally enough to kill the ball. Something in these original levels, or in Doom in general, is they love to add these rising staircases. In fact, I'm pretty sure there was a chapter of one of those Doom level making books that is devoted almost entirely to making rising staircases. And now there is a trigger, I believe it's here, yeah, that opens up this secret, which gives you another chainsaw in case you missed the first one, and leads to the yellow door. Now, the yellow key we picked up in the same room that we killed that first pink demon in, and is only used in this level in this secret. And it gives you a whole bunch of more power-ups to enjoy, including this one, which is partial invisibility. It makes it so if an enemy is trying to hit you, it's more likely that it will miss to either side. In GZ Doom, it also seems to make it so that sometimes enemies just won't trigger if they see you, which I'm not really used to, and I'm not sure if that's a bug or if it's a feature from that I just never noticed back in the game in the past. So finally now we're heading up this way, which leads to this room, which is, of course, empty now that I killed everybody, and another little trap, and then a third trap. But see what I mean? Like, these guys are not waking up because I had the partial invisibility on. Now, one thing I do not like about the partial invisibility is, like, I don't mean to sound egotistical, but I've gotten good enough at the game that I can generally dodge the fireballs that an imp is firing at me. And with partial invisibility, now the imps sometimes miss. And they sometimes miss in the direction that I'm already trying to dodge toward. Oh, Jesus. The shotgun guys are also fairly dangerous. They can quite easily tear large chunks of your health and armor away if you're not careful. I don't know if there's a guy coming or not. This is one of those secrets where you run over to here to get the pickups, and then if you hadn't killed all the imps, they end up being set loose upon you, I suppose you could say. Gonna blow that up mostly for safety. I feel like there should be another guy coming after me. Maybe he didn't see me yet. Whoop. Alright, so now we have the yellow key. That's a red door. Over here is one of my favorite things to explain. Another of the traps that the developers would make is if you see that little black square up there, that is actually a tunnel that leads off to a chamber hidden behind that wall. And so, just like in Wolfenstein 3D, how sometimes if you shot your weapon, you would wake up guards in the next room, all of the enemies in there are pissed off because I've been shooting my weapon in the level. And so, there's just a room full of angry enemies in there. And then once I move over this, you could hear the sound of that door opening. And that was actually... a wall that was stopping these enemies from getting to a teleporter. A teleporter that takes them into this room. So that was another one of those traps or tricks that the developers love to make. Something I actually found out really recently is that this first episode... Where the hell am I going next? Where's the yellow key go? Oh, right, over this way. This first episode was made almost exclusively by John Carmack, which is generally considered the big name behind Doom itself. And a lot of people that were making their own levels were basing them off this same sort of style, because some of them only had the shareware version of Doom to go off of. Oh, some more armor pickups. I'm actually going to go the other way because I want to keep that red door shut. Whoa! Where that? Okay. Usually, for whatever reason, there's like one last imp that's caught in that room, and then it just takes him a while to find his way to the exit so he can come get you. Wow. I don't know if this is a required thing or not, but it leads up here, where now there is a bunch of free demons. Ooh. I remembered enjoying the weak human enemies quite a bit in the game, partially because they would only take a single shot to kill, and so the imps I wasn't a huge fan of, and then the pink demons I really wasn't a big fan of, because if you're lucky they take 3 shotgun shots to kill. Then there's one last variant of the pink demon that's invisible, or as close to invisible as they can get. And then another obvious secret here, which is a trigger there that lowers this. And back in the day, you didn't have the ability to jump, so instead, you were basically expected to use running to get to each of these pickups. But since GZ Doom allows you to jump, I usually just abuse that for the few weapons and power-ups that I need. There aren't very many spots in the game where jumping gives you that much of an advantage anyway. That opens that. I believe this switch... Yeah, there is an auto map in the game. Oh, Jesus! Just like in Wolfenstein 3D. Well, in Wolfenstein... Oh, Jesus, I went below 100 health? Yeah, I've taken a whole lot of damage in this level. But that is it, and this time the exit is way out in the open instead of in its own little room. Oh yeah, like I was saying, Wolfenstein 3D had an auto map only as part of that that source port that I was using to play. I knew there was another guy coming from each of those. The chain gun is not the most accurate, but I tend to enjoy using it from long distances. I'm going to blow that up for safety, because this trigger line here is another trap. Which, I didn't really need that second rocket. That first one looks like it did it. But yeah, I'm a lot lower on health than I'm used to being at this point. So I should probably try and be at least a little more careful. I don't know what this switch does, to be honest. I'm gonna wait for that elevator. I'm gonna backtrack just a little. Yeah, I've got no clue what that switch does. Now this room in the center, normally you can't open it. Well, I mean, if you went up to the door and hit space, you would be able to open it, or whatever the open key is. But each side has a little line here. That is a trigger that opens it up. Gives you another chain gun if you don't have one. And you can't actually leave the room normally. You have to walk over this square with the lights on it. What's over here? Oh, here's just the top to that other area. I really don't know what that other switch does. That's weird. Nice. Alright, so now most of the level is actually cleared out. This thing up here that I kept bypassing is a environmental suit, I think they call it. It turns your vision green, but it also makes it so you don't take damage when you're in the poison pits. Which, they're not always poison, so there are some levels where it's like lava. This secret, if you hit that switch, then this platform starts to rise, but if you're not on it, it doesn't come back down. Oh, this is definitely gonna help with my health situation. And then the only way out of that pit is through this way anyway. That switch just lowers this elevator, I believe. And now over this way. Which there are a few different shotgun... Damn it, he still got a hit off on me. Alright. I got all my ammo. This was another section that, as a kid, I was not a big fan of. And that's... primarily... Ooh. The door turned that guy's body into goo. But yeah, that was mostly because, as a kid, this was a very dark and maze-like area, and generally, it had a bunch of enemies that were pissed off and searching for you. And so there were constant quiet growls in the background. And that's not the most pleasant thing for a young kid to experience. Which I do fully believe that it doesn't really matter how old you are, as long as you have parents that teach you the difference between right and wrong, you're gonna grow up to be fine. Like, oh Jesus. I played a lot of Doom as a kid, as well as Wolfenstein 3D and other games that were considered extremely violent. That guy just killed himself, Jesus. A lot of different violent games, and I have never wanted to shoot anybody, really. Like, I believe I turned out just fine. I mean, other than some of the social awkwardness and all that such. You do need that yellow key to complete this. Oh, I dodged right into that one, Jesus. You do need that yellow key to complete the level. Well, actually, no, you don't, because you could backtrack. Over here is the exit, but you hit this switch to raise that platform. Alright, and this room, this was just another way to get to the exit room, which I believe this is the infamous secret of, like, if you go to the map here, it kind of looks like a weird symbol. I believe it was originally designed to be a swastika as like an homage to Wolfenstein 3D, because some of the people that worked on Doom also worked on Wolfenstein 3D. But because people tend to dislike swastikas in their children's video games, they were basically forced to change it slightly. I always thought this was kind of neat. I believe that door was coded to open as soon as you fire your first shot in the level, but I'm not sure. And you have to come over here in order to trigger that platform rising. And I believe you need to go over that way. And then a bunch of deaf guards that will only trigger once they see you. Behind these barrels is another secret. And then over here... yeah, this leads over to the yellow key, which I'm pretty sure you are required to get. And then there's one more secret, but I don't like going to it without saving, because it involves jumping into a poison pit. But it gives you rocket launcher, some more ammo, and a refill on your armor. Now, this is something you couldn't really do without mouse aim, because you would be able to aim, well, you would be able to shoot, but it would just go straight unless it went directly to an enemy, and I think it would hit the outside of that windowsill if you tried. Alright. It looks like I am once again out of time, though, so, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.